Falei, não, minha filha, se você não for, eu vou pagar passagem já, porque aí eu vou primeiro pro Pará e depois eu vou voltar para Manaus. Não me deu uma resposta.
Ela deve estar pensando, porque ela não tem carro, ela não tem a privacidade que ela quer.
E você acha que no Brasil ela vai ter?
É o que eu estou dizendo, assim, ela não consegue decidir por isso, entendeu? Porque ela sabe que aqui na América precisa trabalhar. Sorry. Is it plugged in? Thank you. like being in the front row.
What's up, folks? How's everybody doing tonight? So, just the fact that everybody's sitting here tonight, everybody made a decision that they wanted to stop living the way that they were living. Where something was off, I've been in the same shoes where, I was ready for a change. I knew exactly what I needed to do. I just didn't know how to do it. I didn't have anybody giving me the application steps. And that's kind of what we wanted to bring tonight with this, with all the speakers that are here. We were very intentional with how we chose them. And, we want to leave here a little bit different. It's not a networking event. I had a couple people reach out like, I do all the networking events. This is not networking. This is a personal development community. I did some research. I looked around. I didn't see anything like it, especially in our area. And I think there's a need for it here on the Treasure Coast. Alex is kind of a co-founder. It's crazy. Obviously, the foundation of this is faith. We have 5 pillars. If you guys had a chance to look at the website, we're going to post that stuff. We're going to give you guys the link at the end if you haven't gotten a chance to look at it. We have the 5 pillars of what this was based off of. Number 1 is faith, purpose, relationships, finances, and what's the last one, Alex?
Faith, financial, leadership, family.
Leadership. So come on up, Alex. I want to introduce you guys. Alex Plains.
Thank you, Johnny. How do I sound? Good. Well, if there's somebody that you guys want running point on something like this, is my man right here, Johnny. He literally turned this around in less than 2 months. I'm very impressed with your execution and your persistence and your resilience trying to get everyone here. Like, we had a great show. I'm super excited what this is gonna bring. We literally started this idea in April of this year, and within less than 8 weeks, look how many amazing people we have here today. So let's give a round of applause. Secondly, I have so much passion. The last 24 to 36 months have probably been, or have been, the hardest times of my life. Some of my dear friends like Nick have been part of it. We all talk about hitting rock bottom. I've hit rock bottom during these last 2 or 3 years. I had a 10-figure business, had to go through a divorce, left 3 young children at home, and if it wasn't for God and faith, I would have never been able to get through these dark times. At a certain point, I thought of taking my own life, to be honest with you. It was so much pressure that I was receiving, and I had no one to go to. My family was in Miami, and I had a very small circles of friends. So when Johnny talked to me about this, I was like, we gotta do this. We gotta inspire people, and we gotta motivate people. Because it doesn't matter how much money you have or resources you have. If you don't have a community of support and people that care for you, it means nothing, believe me. So we're gonna be learning about a lot of different things when we meet up. We're gonna talk about personal relationships. We're gonna be talking about God, how to build, empower our community, empower our peers, as well as be a better father, a better mother, a better overall leader, and just a better human being overall. So I'm super excited to be a part of this, and I can't wait for you guys to hear the story of our speakers and what they have to share. Thank you.
So yeah, this is for those of you that do know my journey, 8 years ago I was a homeless drug addict on the streets, and I didn't want to live that life anymore. This beautiful young woman over here is my wife. What's been she is my wife. She is, her, my family. I'm a grandfather because of her. We just found out our 5th grandbaby was just born. How long ago? Like 20 minutes ago. So 39-year-old grandpa, and I'm loving it. But more importantly was that I got around people that got me off the bench. I got around people that called me out. God has so much more for each and every one of us. Like I said before, I knew what to do. I just didn't know how to apply it. The information age is dead. We have so much information. You can go on the internet and learn anything. You can use ChatGPT to do anything, but how about walking the walk? We can see it. We know what we got to do, but how about taking those steps to actually do it? And sometimes it just takes not even really a mentor, but just a peer to say, hey, why aren't you doing that? How come you haven't written that book? How come you haven't posted that post? How come you're not putting those videos out that you want to put out? And really, just like I said, being called up and being called out to get off the bench and do it. So that's what it's all about. We want to leave here tonight with, it's not a seminar where, you go home 5 days later after being fired up and you go back to doing the same old stuff. This is going to be an ongoing community. We're going to stay connected. And, like I said, share each other's wins, share each other's losses, and go to the next level together. It's not about me. It's about what we can do to help each other out. And so with that, we're going to get going. We had a few changes of events on speakers. My buddy Marlon couldn't make it. He has a trucking company, and he's been driving his own dump truck. And so we got a stand-in for him that was an amazing guy that stepped up to the plate. But we're going to start with Luis Remartini. Luis has been somebody who's come into my life recently, and he wanted change. He wanted a different life. He wanted to put God first. He wanted to get in order, have structure in his life. The guy's got an amazing story, but like I said, just putting some little nuggets on him to where he's doing all the work. He just needed a little guidance. But man of God, father, business owner. I look up to that guy now, and I've seen amazing changes in him, and I'm super excited that he gets to talk here tonight. So, Luis.
Thank you all guys for being here. So, it's 2016, 11:30 p.m. at night, and I'm in Port St. Lucie, Florida, on an elementary school. I'm 24 years old. I have been in the USA for 4 months, and as I'm pushing a mob across a floor that is not mine, on a country that is not mine yet, with a language that I barely speak and understand, and they're just crying. And I keep asking to myself the same question every single night. What the hell am I doing here? So now look at all of you guys. Some of you have come here in suits. Some of you have come purely from work. Some of you have your own business. Some of you dreaming about it. And some of you may be running a multi-million-dollar operations. But if I know something for sure, is that all of you, every single one of you, at some moment of your life, have asked yourself the same question. What the hell am I doing here? I was born a lawyer father who taught me work and ethics, and a mother who taught me what love feels like. I had a safe and comfortable childhood and teenage life. In 2016, that country that I had grown up in stopped existing. No food on the shelf, no medicine on the pharmacies, no filter for the jungle. So after my cousin got kidnapped and they robbed everything in their home, my father called me and he said, "You're leaving the country today. There's nothing here for you." So he handed me an airplane ticket and $500. And so I landed in Port St. Lucie, Florida with those $500 in the pocket, a work visa that gave me 5 years to build a business or get it started, and a borrowed room in my family's vacation home. I have grew up very comfortable, and I left that comfortable life behind. I left my friends, I left my girlfriend, I left everything. I grew up with hard help in home. 4 months later, for the first time in my life, I'm mopping a floor at a bathroom in a school at night to make a living. Now, that night, the night of the mopping, I was there sitting in my car, just by myself, holding on the steering wheel, and really feeling in a never-ending loop, feeling like there's no way out for me. And now I want to ask to all of you, have you ever had that same thought? Have you ever felt that way? Have you ever been sitting in your car by yourself, holding the steering wheel, and asking God if you are strong enough to build the life you dream of? Asking God, is there any way out? I'm going to tell you, there's a way out, and it is through God. My first few months on this country, 40 plus years older than me. He used to install blinds for a living. So he was needing an assistant, and I was needing anything that I could get. And he gave me the opportunity to start working with him. For about a year or so, Roberto and I installed blinds in homes and schools all around the Treasure Coast. He taught me about work and ethics, but more importantly, about the value and how important it is to value the work of a man's work. But one day, Roberto gave me advice. Very simple advice. But it was this advice that changed the direction on where my business was to grow on. It really said that before and after in my life. So he said something as simple as, Luis, if somebody asks you if you know how to do anything, whatever it is, you say yes, and then you will figure it out later. I thought he was crazy, but so I did. And I used this advice for a lot of different stuff, including light electrical work, which I don't recommend you to do, plumbing, handyman services, and on and on and on. I didn't know it back then. I couldn't see it. I wasn't wise enough. I didn't know what or how to ask for it. But that prayer I was having in my car that night at the mall has been already answered. God was already putting Roberto in my life. So one evening, I'm at the Home Depot buying PVC materials for a water heater replacement. This lady just come up to me and she said, hey, do you do concrete work? First thing came to my mind is Roberto's face. Guess what he said? Yes. Of course I do concrete work. I knew nothing about it. But I started researching that very same night. After setting an appointment for me to go and check on her job. So this lady, she had never seen me before. She had never heard of me. She didn't know who I was. But she still gave me the opportunity not only to go and check on her project, not only to bid on it, but she actually gave me the business. She actually awarded the project to me. Now, I can look behind, I can look back, and I know this was God's action. It was God giving me the opportunity through that person. If any of you can look back and see the presence of God in your life, say yes. Yes. Amen. And so we did. We got the job. I started all around the construction sites and looking for a concrete crew. Until I found one that agreed to go and do the placing and finishing of the concrete. We got started. It was me and my brother-in-law. We spent 3 days of swinging and carrying concrete pieces and putting it into a dumpster. We dug out and replaced the whole quarter pipe. Everything done by hand. And then this concrete crew came, poured the concrete and finished it. And so after that, her neighbor actually wanted us to do the same. And she hired us to do her pipe. So we did the same procedure. 3 days replacement of manual removal, and the same crew doing the concrete work. Today, we remove, replace the pipe, form, and prep 2 driveway the same size in 1 day. On that same path, I met this Mexican guy named Gustavo, and I started hiring him to do our concrete work. With the little money that I got from those 2 driveways, I put that into marketing and went out and printed thousands of flyers. I literally started walking every single street of the city, just hanging those flyers door to door. So whatever I could find by walking or by word of mouth, I would give it to this guy. But this guy went beyond that. He actually became my mentor. He taught me a lot of what I know about concrete today. For the first few years of my business, there would be months I sold 0. That's nothing for the groceries, nothing for the rent, nothing for the gas. But this guy will find out, and he will call me and say, come work with me. I will pay you for the day. And so I did. I went to somebody else's job site and worked, doing whatever I had to. Anything from the prep to the final cleaning, mixing concrete bags, holding and carrying concrete pieces, getting dirty, doing anything that would need to be done. Again, I didn't know it back then, but I look back and I know it was God answering those prayers that I have made at some point, putting these people in my life to guide me through the correct path. One day we were doing our fifth driveway, the city of Port St. Lucie. Everything was going great. But then this city inspector stopped by. He asked for my contractor license. I didn't have any license. I didn't know I need a license. So he gave me a $1,500 fine, which was more than I would make on a month back then. At that point, I'm like, I gotta go back to my country. I can't keep doing this anymore. But then I remember, there's nothing back there for me to come back to. And if I don't grow this business, I don't get to renew my visa. And therefore, I don't get to stay here. So the very next day, I went to the city, I financed that fine, I started studying it. And I did. 2018, I got my first local concrete contractor license. 2020, I got my state license, my state general contractor license. And back in 2024, I got my state roofing contractor license.
Yeah.
Now, 10 years after that, 10 years after that, yes, I do concrete. 10 years after mopping that bathroom floor. 10 years after that $1,500 fine that I told would break me. Today, I run a business that sells more than $3 million a year. 12 full-time employees, 7 trucks with trailers and machines driving all around the Treasure Coast daily. 150 jobs completed a year. That young guy from Venezuela, revealed himself in here. That girlfriend that he left behind is today my wife. We have been together for 16 years. We have 2 beautiful daughters. I just feel so blessed. God has been so good with us. But I'm going to tell you something that most success story does include. I was working 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, for many, many years. I neglected my health, I neglected my marriage, my body broke. And with all of that, my business was still not growing at the speed of my head. Now, I have realized that what we need to scale is direction. And direction doesn't always come from yourself. Direction comes from somebody that has walked the road you're about to get into. On the past few years, I have hired mentors to help me in almost every aspect of my life. I have had mentors helping me on my spiritual journey, helping me with my fitness and nutrition goals, helping me with my business goals, helping me with how to manage stress of different circumstances that I have daily on my personal and professional life. If it wouldn't be because of these mentors, I wouldn't be here standing functional in front of you today. And for the past few months, I have been working with a gentleman, with a guy that is in this room tonight. His name is Jonnie Parsons. And Johnny is working with me, and he's teaching me how to scale my business from 3 million to the 8 figures. But more importantly, he's teaching me how to do this without losing my soul on my way up. He's teaching me how to walk with God and lead my business at the same time. And he's teaching me how to put God first. Because when you walk with the faith, the love, and the confidence of God, you walk fearlessly, knowing that He's holding your back. Now, I know what you guys are carrying. I know the weight that you guys are carrying. You're carrying the weight of being strong while feeling scared. You are carrying the weight of a wife or a husband that deserve better than what you could give them today. You are carrying the weight of children that depends on you having an answer tomorrow that you don't have today. If you are carrying any of these, say yes. Yes. If you know you could change your life, say yes. Yes. If you know you are stronger than the circumstances, if you know God is walking with you, say fuck yes. And so it is, and that's the fire that we gotta keep alive. Now, I realize that asking for help is not a weakness. It's actually the way God designed us. Look at this room full of people. Every single one of you has something to learn, and every single one of you has something to teach. It's not only the guys standing right here in front of you today. Every single one of you could teach something to the guy sitting next to you. I'm going to be learning things from you tonight. To don't leave tonight without saying to somebody, telling somebody, teach me. Teach me how you did it. Teach me how you are doing it. Because again, asking for help is not weakness, it's a design. You're not supposed to carry it alone. God didn't design us to walk alone. God designed us to walk with our brothers and sisters who have been there already and are willing to show us the path and the way to make it through. So wherever you are tonight, whatever stage you could be, if you are at that bathroom, cleaning that bathroom at 11:30 p.m., if you are at that Home Depot just looking for any opportunity that will come your way, if you are facing that $1,500 fine that seems like it's going to break you, God has already someone on the way to you. God is listening to your prayers, and He's answering to those, even if you can't see it right now. It's coming. Because when you keep putting the effort, when you keep putting God first, the result is never going to be different. It's always going to be what God is planning for you. I want to encourage you guys to I want to say that even books could be good mentors. So I want to encourage you guys to start reading today. Because good leaders are always readers. And talking about the mentorship and how to learn, what to learn from somebody else, is like they say, a good man learns from his own mistakes, but a wise man learns from somebody else's mistakes. And that's what we got to work on. Because having a mentor could save us 10 years of mistakes that we don't really have to go through. And now on a final note, I just want to share with you what I consider to be the key of a happy life. What I consider to be the key of a happy and successful life is gratitude. Gratitude is not only a feeling. Gratitude is a discipline. Gratitude is a way of living. It's a muscle, a neural path that you gotta work daily in your mind so you could develop. It's like going to the gym. You gotta work it every single day in your life. The day that I stop being angry, that I stop being anxious, and I stopped comparing myself to other people. That's what I was doing before. My business wasn't growing. The day that I started waking up every day grateful for what I have, instead of sorry for what I don't, that was the day when life changed. That's when everything started changing. Better opportunities, better customers, better jobs, better sleep next to my wife. I want to thank Jonnie for putting all of this together. Alex, thank you guys. We wouldn't be here if it wouldn't be because of you guys. Thank you guys. God bless you. God bless you.
I'm going to move this over just a little bit. Get some light. Please excuse the technical difficulties. We're going to get a little bit of it up here. So, Luis, let's hear it one more time. mean, that's what iron sharpening iron is, like, it's friction, and, you know, doing the things you don't want to do, even when we don't want to do them. And I appreciate you, Luis, for coming tonight. Next speaker, my man Paul. Been walking with this guy for a little over a year now since I met him. There's some people like you meet in life that like you're like, man, he's got that dog in him. And like if there's anybody that if you don't know him, you're gonna see real quick. This guy, he wants something, he goes and gets it. He wants to learn something, he learns it. Family man, amazing father. The last year I watched him, 6x his business, build a huge relationship with God, has everybody around him walking with God, leading the community in events. I got goosebumps because like it's been amazing to watch your journey. It's amazing that we get to hear it tonight. So, Paul.
Well, Luis, that's going to be hard to follow, brother. I know you, but I didn't know your story, and I'm very glad that I got to hear it, because now it all makes sense, For anybody in here that doesn't know who I am, my name is Paul Frieden, and I cannot thank Alex and Johnny for putting this event together. I was in the back of that room listening to Luis, asking myself, what the hell am I doing here? I never thought I'd be standing in front of a room full of people talking about my story. Grew up in an immigrant household. My parents came from Russia in 1981. They both worked 2 full-time jobs to put food on the table and a roof over my head. And to be quite frankly honest with you, I took a lot of it for granted, I grew up not really wanting for anything, not really needing for anything, and didn't really realize what they sacrificed to give me the life that I had. It never really made sense to me until my beautiful wife gave birth to our first daughter, and then it all came full circle. I had a bunch of stuff written out that I thought I was going to say, and I'm gonna wing it. Hi, baby. I kind of been winging it my whole life. Looking back in hindsight, I definitely had some mentors growing up, but I didn't see it, right? And growing up, I was very angry. I was very bitter. I was very envious of certain people that I surrounded myself with, and that really blocked me off from any type of relationship I ever had with God, and ever hearing anyone's advice, right? I would get older guys or friends of my father or whoever. My brother's 7 years older than me. He was probably my worst mentor growing up, but we've reconciled since then, and he's doing amazing as well. But I never really knew who was dropping a jewel in my ear because I was full of pride and ego and fear, right? So I would always just block it off and go and do my own thing. And that put me through a lot of grief, heartache, and pain. Just like Johnny, late teens, early 20s, homeless, strung out, no direction, no will to live. And then something intervened in my life. I didn't know, I know who it was now. And kind of from there on out, I lived a pretty mundane life, I got into the union pretty young from one of my first mentors, but I didn't really know it yet, a guy by the name of Frank O'Donnell. He did 36 years in a utility union, and he got me the job back in New York. And at first it was cool. First it gave me a sense of direction, and very quickly that fire faded, and I felt like I was, on a hamster wheel, waking up every morning, not grateful, even though I probably should have been. And that's kind of how my life went. And I'm going to save you all the details because it's not really important. And I'm going to fast forward to meeting my wife, who I didn't know was going to be my wife. We actually separated, and I told her that I couldn't give her what she wanted at first because I was scared of commitment. Fast forward together 6 years, and it's probably the best decision I ever made, calling her back. We had our first child, little Charlie back there, and my wife told me that she did not want to raise our daughter in New York, and she was sick and tired of winters. So she was a very successful hairdresser, had her own business. She was an entrepreneur, I was not. I was always a fan of the steady paycheck, right? I knew exactly what was going to hit the bank every Friday, and that was okay enough for me. So we left a very, very good combined income in New York, and we started over in Florida. A gentleman that I knew for about 25 years, we partnered up on a business venture, and that crashed and burned fairly quickly after I got down here. And we blew through a lot of savings, right? Trying to pay the mortgage, put gas in the car. It chokes me up. I felt responsible because as the man of the household, right, I was always in charge of the finances. And, you know, I felt like I put my family in a bad position. Looking back, it's the best thing that ever happened to me, right? It was the catalyst to get me down here, and it was the catalyst that led to meeting people that changed my life forever. Like I said, I get choked up about it because there's a lot of pain in between that I don't really talk about much because I don't like to focus on it, but it is a very important part. Fast forward, I started a business down here on the Treasure Coast. I had no idea what I was doing, and this is my segue into mentorship. I paid a gentleman online about $5,000 to teach me the ins and outs of the junk removal business, because I had no other idea what to do, right? So, wasn't really happy how that mentorship went, but the one thing I will mention is that a couple of years ago I had a very unhealthy relationship with money, right? I was very attached to it, and it ran my life. So what it did for me was, it kept me committed. I said, there's no way I'm spending all this money and throwing it out the window and beating feet on a 6-month mentorship, right? So I stuck with it, and within 6 months, my business was thriving. To no credit to myself, really. I just put one foot in front of the other every morning, and I humbled myself, and I put my pride and ego to the side, and I went to work every day. Right? Mentorship absolutely changed my life in more ways than one. Johnny brought me my first Bible study about a year ago. And Walter's in this room too, Jesse. It was an eye-opener. I've never done it before, right? And that really started my journey, walking in my faith, and I think that's single-handedly changed my life. I owe all credit to that, all glory to God. I would never in a million years ever think I'd find myself up here in a room full of people saying that exact statement, right? Never. But here I am. Another one of my mentors and dear friend is sitting in his room, and he's never not shown up for me. I didn't have a lot of that growing up, right? I had situationships, I didn't have friendships. I had fair weather friends. I had people that hung around me because they needed something. When that something was gone, those people went with it, right? I never really showed up for people either. I didn't know how to be a good friend, right? So, moving down here really opened my eyes, really softened my heart. And I know I don't look like a crier, but I am. My wife will tell you. I pretty much cry at anything. I don't know, it's kind of crazy now. But back to mentorship. I just want to focus on the fact that how many people in here have hit a brick wall? How many people in here had no idea what they were doing? How many people in here didn't know they were going to pay the rent that month? How many people in here needed an answer and didn't know where to go for it, right? How many people in here read self-help books? I mean, you name it, trust me when I tell you, if you're sitting in this room, you have either been dying for a mentor, wanted one, have had one, are working with one right now, and it's something that, for me, has changed the trajectory of my life. I have caught up on a lot of wasted time, wasted talent. I have been taught things that probably would have taken me a lot of bumps and bruises to learn. I'm a big fan of learning my own mistakes. I've done it my whole life. My favorite saying was, I got this, don't worry about it, I'll figure it out. I got it, don't worry about it, I'll figure it out. I never figured it out. I kind of just kicked the can down the road, and then when I didn't figure it out, I just leapfrogged to the next adventure, to the next thing, and to the next thing. I never really planted my feet and stuck with it, until I had some mentors put in my life, by the grace of God, right? I had no idea where I Johnny, how do you and I meet, man? I shot him a message on Facebook. I said, I like what you're doing, man. I see you doing big things. You want to meet for lunch? The guy home with himself and met me for lunch. Didn't know me for a home level. That's how our journey began,
It was a big message.
It was long, right? I was reaching out on a limb here. I was new to the Treasure Coast, and I wanted everybody to know that I was here, and that I was here to stay, and I wanted to plant my feet and grow my business here, and he respected that. My other mentor I met from another $5,000 mentorship that I spent money on. This guy named Bill Walsh doing an event in Orlando. I don't know if everybody knows who Bill Walsh is, but I went to Orlando. I met a woman by the name of Sam Gannum. We hit it off. I feel like I've known her for 30 years. All of a sudden, she invites me to a charity event down in Lake Worth. I get there. I didn't want to go. I did not want to go, but I said yes. I get there. I meet Brian. From the day I met Brian, my life changed, and I won't go into the details, but just know that one person can change your life forever. And especially if that person is aligned in their faith, right? For me now, that's the only thing I'm chasing. From my experience over the last year, as long as I chase that and grow my faith, everything else is going to fall into place. And I don't even have to know about it. There can be stuff falling into its place behind me, and I'm just, walking the path, and things are just being assembled behind me. And 10 years down the line, it'll all make sense. It doesn't need to make sense to me now. Right, Lewis? What do I have to be afraid of? If I have a loving God and He promises to protect me as long as I seek Him and better His kingdom, there's nothing that I can't do. He's going to give it to me. He's going to give it to me. There's one more thing I want to touch on, and I don't know how much time I have or how long I've been battling for, but I really want to stress the topic of bad mentorship, right? That's something that not a lot of people talk about, and that's something that I've experienced firsthand. You got to be careful what you consume, who you listen to, what you listen to, where you put yourself, because that dictates your life, right? So there are a lot of people out there that will present themselves as mentors, and that is just simply not the case, right? I don't want to put any fear into anybody's heart or make them second guess what they want to do moving forward with mentorship, but There is a huge difference between good mentorship and bad mentorship. And I've experienced both of them, and both of them can affect your life in a serious way. You proud of me? I won't get into the negative so much, right? The bad mentorship is self-explanatory, just more of a cautionary signal, right? Just to keep your wits about it. I wholeheartedly believe in mentorship. I've spent a lot of money on it. I've got a lot of value out of it, and it saved me a lot of heartache and pain. There's another gentleman in this room that him and I don't talk as much, but I spent on the phone with this guy one time. He's sitting right over there at Benny's house, and within an hour and a half of listening to my story, he gave me the roadmap to what my brand is. And it was insane. I couldn't believe it. The guy didn't know me from home, though we spoke for an hour and a half. He goes, this is what you need to do. And this is who you are. This is what you have to offer people. And I think you should take it and run with it. I've yet to do that, but I'm working on it, brother. I'm working on it. If you guys have not had the opportunity to meet Benny, he's an amazing guy. Very good at what he does. Extremely good looking. Great head of hair. Something that I'm very envious of. But I don't want to get off track. I want to tie this all in somehow. Like I said, I had a bunch of stuff written out, and I kind of threw it out the window. And I hope I'm making sense. I hope I'm helping somebody in this room tonight. I'm an open book, right? So after this event, if you see me and you have questions, please, I welcome all questions. I'll tell you anything you want to know, and you're either going to love me or hate me, and I'm okay with that, right? So to put this all in perspective, over the last 2 years, my wife and I moved to Florida July 10th of 2024, right? In 2 years, I've met people that have changed my life. And if I didn't move to Florida on a failed partnership and a failed promise, none of this would have happened. I would have never been presented with the opportunities. Like Jonnie mentioned, right? All glory to God. The business that I started a year ago in March has grown. I couldn't even tell you how many X's because I have track, to be honest with you. And that's why Brian's here, by the way. That guy, wow. Besides the business, I know there's a lot of entrepreneurs in this room and stuff, and for me, yes, I'm grateful. Yes, I'm blessed. I'm happy. My wife is proud of me. I know it. I could give that business away today. If anybody wants it, let me know, right? I really couldn't care less about it. Luis put it in perspective. Gratitude, right? I don't care what I'm doing. I have to do it with gratitude. You probably didn't know it then, but you were mopping that floor with gratitude. Because you put yourself in a country that gave you, it's a land of opportunity. And look at you now, right? So gratitude will change your life, and it's changed mine. As long as I have the love for God, the love and respect of my family, and of my fellows, I'm okay. Money is just a tool. And that is what I've been learning lately. I've been shedding my unhealthy relationship with money, and all I want to do is be able to help people. That's it. You know? And I pray every day for God to show me what my gift is, because I know it's not demolition. I'll tell you that right now. You know what I mean? It's fun and all, but yeah, I can do without it. I love each and every one of you guys here. I don't really know what I quite said, but I will tell you this. If you're thinking about a mentor, there's a lot of them in this room right now. They've changed my life. They continue to every day. Invest in yourself. And Mentorship doesn't have to be paid for, right? There's plenty of free mentorship out there. You just got to seek it. And I just had a conversation with somebody before this event started. You don't look for your mentor. Most of the time, your mentor finds you. And then you'll know. Thank you, everybody.
Guys, Paul's amazing. He's I remember when he was like, man, I can't get them to approve my Google page. It's like a 3-month process where he was trying to get on Google, and like they kept sending it to the wrong address, and then like the second trailer, he sat down and he was like, you think I should buy the second trailer? And I'm like, bro, go get it. And now, I mean, dude, you're doing amazing. I'm super grateful to call you a friend. I'm super grateful to have you in my life. Super grateful to see everything you got going on. And thank you for sharing what you had to share tonight. Guys, that's really what we're here for. I mean, like, ask yourself that question. Don't answer it right now. Take it home with you. Why am I here? Why did I decide to come to this event with the foundation that we laid out? What changes do you want to see in yourself? And just go, soak on that for the rest of the night and answer it for yourself. Alex from Rodriguez Torres, RT commercial. This guy amazingly stepped up. I asked him, he took the call. He has a lot of value to offer. I've been to a couple of events similar to this. I kind of got some, it was kind of a catalyst for me on doing this. Actually, I asked somebody if I could speak at their event, and they told me no, and I was like, I'll just do my own event. That person, I'm gonna let them know they were a catalyst too. But Alex from RT Commercial, Mr. Rodriguez Torres, thank you for coming.
Good evening. Good evening. Howard Square. The family did that. They messed my name real up. The credit card, it gets run off the side. So I go by Alex. It's a pleasure to be here with you guys. Everybody has a story. Everybody has a passion. Everybody has a gift. And with that said, I'll tell you just a quick snippet of kind of where I was, where I am, and hopefully it gives some inspiration tonight. So my family also immigrant. Came from Cuba, Havana, Cuba. Left everything there when Fidel Castro took over. Empire had to start from scratch with $5 in the pocket and no English here in the U.S. So that story is something that resonates really well with the other gentleman that was up there. Yeah, so with that said, I come from a family though that's a little different. There's a lot of physicians in the family. My father's a doctor, my grandfather's a doctor, my brother's a dentist, and the pressure that's there for you to be a doctor or just be what your family wants you to do is always there. It's on you every day. You got to be a doctor or you're a piece of shit, basically. That's how it was when I was raised, right? So I was very rebellious, fights, guns, drugs, all kinds of stuff, right? The same stuff that some of these guys have gone through. And so I said, something, I have a passion for real estate, and I'm going to do this. My father didn't believe in me, my parents didn't believe in me, nobody believed in me. So in this case, what mentor do you have if nobody believes in you? There's one right up there that you can focus on. You got to believe in yourself when others don't believe in you. You got to reach out to God, and you have to bring that as a source of empowerment for you to follow your dreams. Go for what it is you want. So what I did was I started going after foreclosure deals. Went to the courthouse, old school, where you had to go look in the cases, and my mentor, I met him there. A guy that out of the corner, I'm looking through all these foreclosure cases, and he's like, hey man, you're doing it all wrong. I'm like, well, fuck you very much. I'm doing my thing. Who are you? I mean, what's up, man? Leave me alone. I'm doing my thing. I'm trying. I was a kid. I was 21 years old. So at that point, I started looking in the cases. And when he said it again to me, he kind of looked at me. Looked like a wealthy guy. He's like, you're doing it all wrong. Go start from the bottom of the list of the foreclosure cases, not the top where everybody's looking through. He says the biggest fish you'll catch in life are those in the ponds that others won't fish in. Man, this is like Mr. Miyagi kind of shit. This is great, this guy. Who are you? Now I was happy to meet him, and I let my ego get out of the room and just listen to him, take in that information. There's somebody who's been there, who knows what they're doing, and essentially, could guide me into doing what I want to do, but faster. That's the value of mentorship. If you follow someone who's already been there, you can go through a fast track pass, and you don't have to go through all the pain and all the shit that people go through to go ahead and be successful in whatever it is you want. So I started doing foreclosure cases. I'm a kid, 21 years old, banging on doors and telling an owner, hey, I'm gonna buy your house cash and close quickly. I'm 21, and they're like, dude, where's your parents? Like, get off of my block, my door. What money do you have? So I had to raise old school money from some Cubans in Miami, 12% interest, and at that point it's like 3 points up front. Long story short, I had to convince them not only that we're gonna make money, to loan me the money, and let's do it with zero experience, right, and no belief behind me, but you gotta go for it. I call going for it in life the 1% club. And what that means is you can get all the knowledge that you need in life. I can teach you guys how to make $1 million and put that on a plate for you. But there's gonna be people that look like, this shit doesn't work, it doesn't happen fast enough, right? Or, skeptical, because there's limits that were taught to you over your life. We're born without limits. Society teaches us that. So always remember that and follow your path, and don't pay attention to the normal things in life, because if you want abnormal success, you gotta do abnormal things. And sometimes that means not listening to your own family. That's a tough one, because your family means well for you. They love you, they want you the best for you, right? But they have their own path. Get a job, get a degree from Harvard, and you're gonna make it. Well, I fired guys in my office from Harvard, and I didn't graduate with shit. So my point with that is follow your path the right way with what it is you have inside here, with God guiding you the right way, and then get a really good mentor. If you get a good mentor, he was rebellious, like I told you guys back in the day, school fights, guns, all kinds of stuff. And what happened with me is I also hit rock bottom. I was in Okeechobee Boulevard, if you guys know where that is, in West Palm Beach. I was at a club about 2:30 in the morning, it was time to go home. And all of a sudden, when I was driving, and again I had been drinking, I fell asleep at the wheel. My windows were down, my sunroof was open, and I ended up hitting a royal palm tree. I was going 80 to 100 miles an hour. I hit the royal palm, 360, and then my car rolled 100. I rolled 100 yards, and it was a football field. I ended up on the other side of oncoming traffic, so the rolling was actually 8 times. When I ended up on the other side of oncoming traffic, I just had one eye open. I was spitting blood, and from a family of physicians, I thought I was going to die, because if you have internal bleeding, you're going to die if you're spitting blood. So I just began to pray at that moment. And when I was praying, again, one eye open, spitting blood, the car began to shake. They were cutting me out with the jaws of life, put me into the stretcher, into the trauma hock unit, into the helicopter I went, and then I was told I'd never walk again, I had a ruptured aorta, ruptured spleen. The worst was stopped. The only thing that happened was when I was rolling in that accident, my finger was frayed and shattered to the bone. So I have limited movement in this one here, but it's a reminder every day, and this is not in a cheesy way, this is authentic. Life is a gift. Life is a gift. Trust me, it's a gift. So with that said, the gratitude that you guys said, 100% every day, you gotta have gratitude with what it is you do on a daily basis. So what that accident taught me was, number one, life is very fragile. Number two, it is truly a gift. And then number three, when it goes beyond science, there's something called God incidents, right? So when things happen that you cannot explain, there's only one reason that explains that. And so I'm a miracle in terms of being alive here today, to even talk with you guys. But I share that with you because every single person in this chair is more capable than what they're doing right now. So show of hands, has anybody had a mentor that's inspired them in their life? And raise your hand as high as you can if you have in your life that's inspired you and that's been able to do something for your life that's allowed you to become more successful, or do something that's touched your life to be grateful for what it is you have. Raise your hand. Okay. As high as you can. All right. Now, a little higher. Okay, see that? What happens as high as you can? Now, my point with that, most of the time we also will go for things in life, but not all in. We go just enough. Right? Until fear kicks in. When fear kicks in, false evidence appearing real, that's when we say, like, no, this is uncomfortable, I'm out, I can't do it, whatever it is. All the fear and the stuff that people put in your mind that wasn't for you because you're born without limits, that's what stops you. You got to get rid of that. What you frequently see is what your frequency runs on. And so essentially, every day, you want to literally program yourself. Change your habits in the day in the morning. In the morning, wake up, and instead of grabbing your phone and you have reactive situations, emails, text messages, social media, what's on the news, all that stuff there, take 20 minutes of your morning when you wake up and give yourself that time to be like, you know what, today, this breath I was given, somebody else took their last breath. And so I see this as a gift Thank you, God, for this gift of life. Thank you for my family. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for living in the best country in the world that we have an opportunity to make money. If we go hustle and do what it is we want to do, we have that opportunity. In these other countries, in Cuba, you can't. It doesn't matter how hard you work. You don't have that shot. So here we have some of the best opportunities. Take that every day the best that you can, right? So by doing that, changing your daily habits, that allows you to accelerate in other areas of your life. But you got to do it. Somebody said it like programming, which is true. You got to frequently do that. It's like a muscle. You got to keep doing it every day. Thank you for this life. Thank you for the gift. Thank you for all the things. When you do that early in the morning, just try that, you guys. Try that for 1 week. See how your day goes. Things get luckier. You start doing more deals. Shit starts working. Like, man, what a coincidence. It's because you've already started here, and now you're excelling. You're bringing more of that into your abundance. Watch the game change over your life, and now things start to just keep going, stack up. You meet great people, right? So I don't want to take a lot of time, but what I'll tell you is my 2 messages to you is obviously number 1, life is truly a gift, and make sure every day that you live it, it's all in. In other words, what did I do today that was worth my life? If tomorrow you didn't have it, right? What would you do today if you couldn't see your family tomorrow? Would you start the business? Would you set the meeting with a mentor, someone you're intimidated to work with? My guys at the office, I have them call all of the CEOs, the biggest companies, BlackRock, all the big companies, because they're intimidated by that. I want you to go to straight up for them. If your dreams are not scary as shit, they're not big enough. You have to dream so big that people are like, this guy's nuts. That's the right way to be. Because then what happens is you stretch so far that you grab something that's at least within your wheelhouse of what you're trying to go for. When I was a kid, Jim Carrey did this. It was manifestation, right? I wrote out a check when I was a kid. It was for $2 million. I was 21 years old. I hit $2 million. That year I hit $200,000 when I was 21 years old. And so my point was, it was a 0 off. But my point with that is that you can do things that will visually and manifest into your life with the actions and the thoughts you put in your mind, combined with God. There's a formula I have real quick, because I know I'm on a little bit of limited time. V, which is vision, plus P, which is the plan, plus A equals action. All of that is what you need to put together. It's not just sit down and manifest Benjamins and the shit's gonna come. You gotta first think it. What is it you want? You want $1 million a year? What does that equal per month? Is it 100 grand a month? What are you gonna do 5 days a week per deal? What is it per day? Is it 2 grand a day, 5 days a week, weekends off? Break it all down to the specificity of what you really want, and there's truly a plan for everybody as to what they want on any goal, any dream that you want, whatever it is you want. It's there for you. But you gotta first start with your thought. Vision, put your plan together. Laser focused plan. Then put it into action. I've been in rooms like this with 300 people, gurus and investment guys and all this stuff with real estate, and they got all the knowledge. They literally know how to do deals. And then when you get out of the room, out of that 200, 400 people, there's like 3 guys doing deals. Why is that? Are they different than you? No. I call it the 1% mind of a champion. What that is you're willing to take that extra 1% and jump and go for it. That's tough. That's the part where it's uncomfortable. But you gotta be comfortable being uncomfortable to be successful, that stuff. So there was a memo mentioned on what I'm gonna talk with, which I learned right before coming here, which was bet on yourself. That was on the agenda. My message to you is to bet on yourself, but do it with a plan and do it with a really good mentor. And then obviously above all that, if nobody believes in you with your goal in the beginning, you gotta believe in yourself. So you gotta bet on yourself, but you gotta have somebody else with you. And I keep mentioning God because, you know, I'm telling you, in this life, when things go beyond science, my brother's a scientist brain, and he's had things and seen things in life. Originally, he was like, look man, I think I'm gonna just not believe in God. You know, this is the science and the universe and all this. Okay. His daughters were diagnosed with a very severe illness. And all of a sudden, that changed, because when it's beyond science and now they're okay, well now that, again, what's the explanation for that? I call it God incidences, but more importantly, it's important to believe in a higher power that can allow you to be your best and be there for you when times are tough and when you gotta get through. I'm here to mentor anybody. I'm not paid, there's no catches. I don't have any shit to sell you guys. I'm only here with good intention, with good people. Good people gravitate towards good people. And the thing we said earlier, which is like teamwork makes a dream work, it's true. In my business and from the mentors I've learned from, and everybody in this room, if you have people that have inspired you, you get with the right people, and that missing element, or that one person, somebody said it was that one person. Yeah, you did. That one person can make a difference in your life is so true. You know, imagine if you didn't meet the person that you met that you're successful for today, or that you have the life that you're at right now with your family or business, whatever it is you got. If you didn't meet one person in your life, it's a gift because it really is. It's truly, truly. You guys have won the lottery way, way more than the Powerball. You know, trillions, isn't it like 400 trillion to 1 in terms of being alive, like being born? Aren't those, how much? 5.6 trillion, right? Those are the odds. But people will play Powerball and have more faith in that. No, it's like, it's truly a gift that we got, this life that we have. So I'm here to mentor anybody in regards to anything business related. It doesn't even have to be business related. It could be, you know, the hard times and how to come out of that. You know, I don't drink now. It's been, what, 14 years in terms of no drinking, healthy lifestyle, good mindset, and all that stuff. It helps you just become successful in other areas of your life. So surround yourself with good people, mentor, and all of a sudden you'll start to see things change in your life. I'm honored to be here at last notice. Johnny and all you guys are champions, and I wouldn't be here if I didn't, you know, truly care for everybody in this room. So thank you for your time.
Guys, thank you again, Alex. I'm just like kind of standing over in the corner like I can't believe this is actually something. You know, I'm just like, the fact that me and Alex came together and have this going on right now, it's like surreal to me because I didn't even think that 10 people would show up. But I hope somebody's getting something from tonight. I hope that we can leave here tonight change just a little bit different and kind of walk on a different path. I mean, but I want to go into my main man, Steve Tomahawk Townsell. Fort Pierce's own, grew up in the same town. I'm one of those weird people that's born and raised here too, so how many people can say that in this room? 3, 4, 5, 6 people in this room can say that they're actually from here. So we're cut from the same Fort Pierce cloth. He's been through the struggle. He's going to talk tonight about the same thing, importance of being coached. This man has taken it to the next level. I watched him walk with God. I watched him change and give his life over to God. He's married right now. He's a father. That, you know, we don't got to live the way we used to live.
I love you too, man. Wow. How's everybody doing tonight? God is good, is he not? I'm like my guy in the back, man. I had 2 weeks. I've known about this for almost about a month and a half, and I thought I'm writing a speech or what am I going to say? And it all comes down to the testimony, right? Everybody has a testimony, and you might get some, but you might not get all of that testimony, but it pretty much touches somebody in the room at some point of your story. So I'm going to take it back just a little bit, get an idea of who I am. Obviously, you guys see I come from Fort Pierce, Florida, 772, right? I am 45 years old, and I'm a professional fighter. All right, I just fought a couple weeks ago. I'm one of the top 5 fighters in the world at 46 now, right? 1998, I was 18 years old, and I was a senior in high school, getting ready to go play football. Always been an athlete, always been busy. Always been extremely selfish in myself. It was always about me, right? It's always about what I can do for me, what's good for me. It wasn't ever about anybody else. Not my mom, my sisters, my family, anybody. It was always about me. So in 1998, man, I made a silly decision. I don't want to say the wrong people because I believe I was with the wrong people at that particular time in my life, right? How many of you guys, I was around the wrong people, it was the wrong people. I was probably one of those wrong people. That year I ended up going to prison, and I ended up spending 10 years of my life straight out of high school. I lost my scholarships, I lost a future playing in any professional sport at a young age. And I had to learn the hard way that everything we do has a repercussion. Big or small, there's a repercussion for it, you know, the good, the bad, there's a repercussion for it. So in 1998, I was sentenced to that amount of time. For the first time ever, I was in a Deloitte, like, whatever, cell, whatever, and I read my first book. Actually read it, I didn't scan through it, cheat off of somebody's homework. I read it. It was called The Power for Living. Anybody remember that book? It's a faith-based book, Power for Living. Anybody? No, all right. So it was a faith-based book, and I was in a really dark place. I was in jail, never went on, looking at another one, he's gone, right? And I read this book, and it was the first time that I actually searched for something based on faith, searched for something from God, and it's usually in our darkest times, the times that we're down in life and we're reaching out, searching for God, right? Looking for answers. How did I get here? Through that time, I tried church, and I tried doing a few things. I was trying to find ways to better myself in that time frame. A decade, that's a long time, right? Pretty long time, right? Couldn't find it, ended up going to prison for that amount of time. Didn't really find God the way I thought that I needed to find God, but I knew who I was, I knew what I wanted, I knew what Steve wanted to do. I kept doing it. Came home, jumped right out, man. I was out maybe a month and a half and I was already having my first child. Thing got real now, right? God said, look, you're moving too fast. I need you to slow down. It's not just about you. And the only way to do that is I'm going to give you a baby. Got my first daughter, was born that year. Man, shames me. Where's my guy in the back that sheds tears? And we were brought up in time where men weren't supposed to cry. We weren't supposed to talk about our problems. We're big tough guys, I'm good. I'm all right. And the baby's bringing about you though, right? The baby's bringing about you, and they really change the way you look at life. And that was the first time in my life that I lost a tiny bit of that selfishness, It's not very much because it was still very predominant. I'm still a new guy, right? A couple years passed, back doing the same dumb shit, figuring out ways, looking for excuses, trying to figure out what I'm going to do. In 2015, up to that year, I've been playing some football. I've been an athlete my whole life, always doing something. Playing football, I was 285 pounds, I was a defensive end, I was a 4-time Florida All-Star, I was living it up, still super selfish, just about me, you know what I mean? And in 2015, at 35 years old, I had a heart attack. And I died at the hospital. 2015, everything changed once again. Still not giving God the time of day. Not giving him what he deserves. Not giving him just what he asked for. Still. That year I came home from the hospital, spent a couple of weeks there. I decided I wasn't going to play ball anymore. It was too much in my body. It was 285 pounds. I was just run down. So, local event, 7-foot Pierce guy, if anybody knows what Rise of the Warrior is, MMA event. Like I said, I'm an athlete. So I'm just chasing something. I'm watching these guys. I'm like, oh man, maybe this is it. Maybe this is my call. Maybe I can do this. I beat these guys out, right? I'm a big tough guy. Ended up going to a gym. Some of those same guys were in that gym for about 3 months. And the reason why I'm telling you that I got beat up is because that's what let me find the growth. Being able to put my ego just to the side for that amount of time. To be coachable, you know what I mean? In a room where I'm pretty much the oldest person there, including the coach. Be able to be coachable by anybody and everybody. That's the people in the mats with me, that's the coaches trying to teach me. And I kept going. So I kept going because I was able to be coached. Still haven't given my life to God yet. Still haven't done that. About 5 years go by, I'm still fighting, doing my thing, having fun. I'm 40 years old now, guys. 40 years old, and I'm thinking that I'm going to be a fighter. Like, if I'm fighting, Not many sane people would think that that's the path for them. I did. At 40 years old, I was given a call and I got the opportunity to make my professional debut as a bare knuckle fighter. Never fought bare knuckle before. Matter of fact, I told you guys I was an MMA guy. The opportunity arose and I jumped on it because the only bad opportunity is a missed opportunity, right? So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do this. It sounds amazing, you know, it'll be great. At that time, I was still a pretty big fella. I was probably about 240-ish, trying to figure it out, you know, trying to optimize my health, trying to be young. I took that fight and I took it at heavyweight and I got my first fight and I got a win. I'm a professional combat athlete at 40 years old. I don't know how many people told me that I wasn't going to be able just to get to that point. How many people told me that I should get a regular job, I shouldn't chase my dreams, oh, you're too old, you're this, you're that. And I didn't let any of those things stop me. And when the opportunity arose, I jumped on it. Because that's what you do. You don't let missed opportunities happen. The only bad opportunities are missed opportunities. Once again, that's my first fight at 40 years old as a professional athlete. I continue to go on, and I just recently fought 2 weeks ago. All right. 2 weeks ago, I took a loss in front of a sold-out crowd at the Hard Rock, probably over about 4 million viewers online throughout the world. And I lost an opportunity to fight. My next fight was going to be for a world title. This was my title eliminator. And it's okay that I lost. It's part of the game. You know, it's what I do. It's the price of admission. And if you understand your price of admission, and it doesn't matter exactly what that is in life, whether it's at your job, it's at your household, it's what you do as a professional, whatever it is, everything has a price of admission. As long as you understand it, you're kind of good, right? You're good to go. But I'm bringing up my loss, even though most people don't talk about their losses, they want to talk about everything that goes good in their life, because even in my loss, goes back to the guy in the back, I found I was grateful. You know, that night, I was extremely grateful for the opportunity. I'm 46 years old. I'm doing something that I love, that I absolutely love. I'm very passionate about what I do. I get the opportunity to wake up every day and do what I love. I get the opportunity to share with what I love with children right now, with children, with women, and women do the same things. I've recently had a little girl come up to me in one of my classes, and she got to write a report about me. And, you know, this is one of those little reports that are like 5 sheets of paper, kind of written half crown. And I just wanted to tell you that I wrote this about you. 46 years old. I'm at the top of what I do, and something so small from somebody so small meant more than any of those things. Over the past 2.5 years, I found God. Over the past 2.5 years, I've been married, I've been in a relationship, and we have found God. Over the past 2.5 years, married in a relationship, we have shared God with our family. We have shared God with our friends. We have shared God with people that would just listen. I have a platform at 46 years old of my life right now to be able to share these things. I wanted to come up here, like I said, just give you a little brief testimony about the things that I've been through and how long it actually took me to find God. And it doesn't matter when you guys accept it, just that you do. Okay? It matters. My beginning isn't your beginning. When you start it's where I started, where I am. But you guys gotta pick it up. You gotta find the opportunities. Don't miss out on opportunities. Don't miss out on opportunities. on anything. I'm kind of at a point right now where I just want to let you know that without God, I wouldn't be here in front of you at 46 years old or any age doing what I do. I would have given up a long time ago. And I haven't, and I won't. And I don't think any of you guys that are in here will either. You know. So I appreciate you guys having me up. I appreciate you guys letting me hear my testimony in front of you guys tonight. If you guys have any questions or anything I can help you guys out with, I'll be here. You know, I'm from the community. I'm from here. I've been through a lot, and hopefully some of the things that I've been through in life can help you avoid going through those things in life.
Amen. I've been riding with them the whole time. I think I've been to every single every single bare knuckle event. Most of the ones in Fort Pierce. If you guys haven't been to any of those events, they're amazing. Supporting your local fighters, supporting. I mean, takes some courage to get in there and do what they do, and it's entertainment and going to war. Guys, the next speaker, somebody that, whether he knows it or not, has been probably the biggest catalyst for me even standing here right now. You know, I don't think I've given him the flowers that he deserves in the time that it's taken from that point in time until now. But, you know, Benny sat down with me. He has been a mentor of mine. He has helped me find clarity in my message, helped me find clarity in my personal brand. And you know, you say brand, but who I am, really, who I am and what I want to do in life. And, you know, Benny, if you don't know him yet, and you know, you can Google him or after he speaks, but, you know, he gets paid tens of thousands. You know, this guy has a vision. He has, and he's been going through some stuff lately, even fighting me, and the fact that, you know, he's real. You know, you can sense authenticity in people. You know, especially when you come from the streets, you just tell, like, man, this guy's, you know, full of it, or whatever. You see it on social media. You see people that are just doing it for likes, just doing it for not for the authentic reasons, not to really truly impact people. Like, I want to see people come back in 5 years and be like, man, Iron Legacy Collective changed my life. And now I'm multiplying impact and carrying that on to others in the community and in the world. And, you know, with that being said, like, Benny has an awesome message tonight, and I'm super grateful that he gets to be here. And Benny, come on up.
All right. Let's give it up for Jonnie. Aren't you proud of him? Wow. So I got a few slides. That's what us professional speakers do. So if I bore you, just look at the slide. You'll be okay. But I'll tell you, you know, I met with Jonnie. I was looking at the text message. It was April 29th last year. And he said to me, Benny, I have a vision. And I don't know where to begin. And I have this gift, and maybe it's all the years I was a pastor for many years, and then I realized that my influence was greater. And so he began to talk to me about his vision, and he was all over the place with it. And to see him literally take what we worked through for a 30-day period and build this has been unreal. I've never had a client do it as fast as he's done it. So either I'm that good, or I'm just kidding. I'll just stop right there. But a little bit about me, I'm upside down, and that's what I do. If you need my laptop's over there, if you need my laptop. Okay, perfect. So I'm a TEDx speaker. I'm on a platform of 44 million people. TEDx speaker. I've been speaking For many years, I'm an ICF executive coach. I go to school for coaching. It didn't happen when COVID happened. I've actually been doing it for 15 years. I'm a leadership consulting. Companies bring me in, Google brings me in, where we teach leadership training. So I coach high-level executives, entrepreneurs, founders, investors. They come to me, and you can follow me on Instagram. It's Coach Benny Salas, or on LinkedIn at Benny Salas. And at the end, I have a free gift for everybody, if that's okay. I'll give you a free gift for everybody to take. Yes, even for you too, if you can scan. But a little bit about me. You can go ahead to the next slide. And this will be speaking at 19 years old. I was born in the inner city of Chicago, in a very gang-infested area called Humboldt Park, and we needed an outlet. And I was in the performing arts very early on, and then at 19 they put a microphone in my hand. I don't know if there's a microphone there, but then there was one somewhere. And they said, Benny, share your message, share your story. And I remember this day because this is the first time I realized that there was a greater purpose and a greater calling for my life. And I realized that if I just connected my message and my story, I could create more impact and influence in the world. And this set me off on a journey that I would not have imagined. Now, it's interesting because, as Paul was up here talking and Steve was up here, man, you got a powerful message. I want to talk with you later. You and I, we got to talk. Powerful message. I kept seeing people's messages like almost like it would flash in front of me, right? So I'm hearing Paul, I'm hearing Jonnie, I'm hearing Steve, and I'm hearing Alex, I'm hearing all these amazing stories, great story as well. Probably the most time I've heard God in person at the same place, So I love it. It's a new era, you know what I mean? Next stage. And I shared a powerful story called When Masculinity Becomes a Crushing Point. And I started to talk about something that happened to me. Now, I've been a speaker for many years, and I'd love to tell you that it's because I've been speaking for many years. That's why I can do this and get paid the money that I get paid to speak. But in actuality, I'm sharing my story here of going through sexual abuse as a 6-year-old. And many of us have stories, and we don't ever want to talk about the stuff that happens to us. Now, I know you're probably thinking, well, what does this have to do? I thought this was supposed to help me. And the reason why is that was my story. That was my entry point into discovering what my message was, that the speaker in me wasn't the 19-year-old. The speaker in me was the 9-year-old who raised his hand and said, hey, I know what happened to me. Can I tell somebody? That's the person that is always speaking. That's the person who I'm connected to. That's the person who says to you today to use your story. So I have a question for you. You go to the next slide. Here's a question that I have for you. Is that if you could put a price tag or a dollar amount on your story, what is it worth? If you could put a price tag or a dollar amount on your story, what is it worth? It's priceless, but a lot of us treat it like it's worthless. A lot of us don't treat our message and our story like it's priceless. As a matter of fact, you don't like to talk about it. As a matter of fact, you keep running away from it. As a matter of fact, it's probably the key to open the next opportunity for you, but you choose to stay silent. And why that's so important, and why I admire these men who came up here, rather it was polished, rather they winged it, rather they went for it, rather they had 2 weeks, is that they were willing to share their story. And why that's so important is because each one of us has a story, but we have not identified the message. When I work with people and I sit down and I hear them, I realize that their story could be all over the place. It's like splattered paint. And what I realize is when you start to define the message, you're like using a fine-tooth comb and a very thin paintbrush. And what you do is you're outlining things very clearly for people to see. Why social media works so well is because it delivers a message. Story, and it says, here's what the message really is. Now you got 60 seconds to deliver it to me. If you've seen Johnny's stuff, and again, I want to encourage everybody that's here, look into his program. See, because I know it's hard. It may not be perfect, but tell me one thing in here that's perfect. Anybody perfect? Tell me anything in here that's been created perfect. This TV wasn't perfect, this wall wasn't perfect, this wasn't perfect. Nothing is ever perfect. As a matter of fact, sometimes we find the greatest joy in the imperfections. How do I know that? Because that's how God chose you. And how he chose me. He didn't choose me because I was perfect. He chose me because I was imperfect. The opposite. And so, if you could put a price tag on your story, what is it worth? And this could be your business story, this could be your personal story, this could be your journey back from a dark place, this could be whatever it is. But I gotta tell you something. When you understand your story, see, because your story is so much bigger than you. Your story is so much bigger than you. Here's what Denise Hamilton said, a good friend of mine. She gets paid way more than I do to speak, by the way, like $30,000. God bless her. She says, people don't pay to hear your story. They pay you to change their story. That's what your business does too. Can you imagine, what do you do, sir? Electrician. Can you imagine if I had a problem? Just tell me your story. He'd be like, what? No. See, what he's doing is he's changing my story when he solves the problem. Whatever you do that solves a problem changes the story. And why that's so important is because why people pay you. Rather you offer a service, a product, rather you solve a problem, rather you do what I do, rather you're in personal development, rather you're a professional coach or a speaker, is not so that you can be impressed with me, it's so that I can be impacted by your story once something changes. And why that's so important is because you just heard 3 men up here tell you about a story. And if you walk out of here the same way you came in, then you're not willing to change your story. There should be something that we gravitate to, something that we hold on to, that should radically change our lives. Because I don't know about you, but I hope to not stay the same way this year, next year. I hope to grow different, I hope to make better money, I hope to have better relationships, to know better people, build better friendships. That is so important, because if not, then I'm not changing my story. And so today, why this is so important, because at the end of the day, how much, I was just talking. I probably closed one of my biggest clients. It was so cool. I closed him and then he referred his friend, and I closed his friend yesterday. Beautiful. The most money I've made. How to clients. I probably made enough. Anyways, let me shut up. But he said something to me. He said to me, Benny, I want to talk about that success is not what you think it is. He goes, as a matter of fact, he goes, I make so much money that it actually doesn't fulfill me anymore. How many of you would like to have that problem? Okay, me too. I was like, bro, if you need to pay me some more, go right ahead. Here's my Stripe account. What do you need? Like, if you're that bored, I can fix that. But that's what he told me. But he said, Benny, there's something more fulfilling that I think we're in search of. And it's not money. It's mission. What kind of mission are you on? Whose lives are you impacting? It's good to make money, but none of that goes with you. In the end, what's going to outlive your money is your legacy. I love the fact that Johnny's message is called Discipline and Legacy. And I'm going to show you a slide in just a little bit that I created a few months ago that I used today, because when I saw it, I was like, now I know why I created it. But it's so important for us to know this, because how is your story changing other people around you? Are your teams better because of you? Is your company better because of you? Is your family better because of you? That's changing the story. Is your community better because of you? Are people who get to know you? See, why this is so important to me is because I'm in some big rooms. I get in rooms where, I'm sitting with people, and I don't ever, Johnny knows, I don't ever talk numbers. I don't ever talk amounts. But I sat with a billionaire, and I'm sitting there like a kid in a candy store. Like, can I learn from you? Not like inside, not like personally. But I was cheesing hard. And I was like, what is it that fulfills him? And I'm realizing he just keeps giving stuff away. And I realized, wow. So it's not money. Because he's trying to change the legacy. He's trying to change the story. He's trying to change the narrative. And he comes from a poor family. And many of us have come from very broken homes and poor families and divorced marriages and all these different things. And it wasn't your fault. And listen, each one of us has a story. Now, what are you going to do with it? Because either you're standing in your story or you're standing on your story. Which one? Stand on it. And I know some of us are, listen, I know the chapter isn't over and we're still going through some tough times and you got a report that this happened, and you got this situation that happened, but if you can still stand on your story, you can still add value to the world. And I don't know about you, but I don't care where you live or where you were born or where you came from, you can change the world. I firmly believe that. And so I'm on a mission to help people do that. Benny, can you help me here? Benny, can you help me here? And I start to figure out strategies and structures and systems and ways to bring things together because I believe that we're meant to change the world. This is the message of the gospel, actually. It's what he tells us to do. He didn't tell us how we would do it. He just said, go do it. Many of you have to be reminded to just go do it. That you've been sitting too long on something great. Think about this. If people don't hear your story, who misses out? How many more lives could you impact if you just got up and shared? If you just told people the truth, if you shared your value, if you actually put it into a process, a product, a formula, a framework, a book. How many of you have, you know how many books are probably sitting in this room that haven't been written? Tons of them. Well, you don't think you're valued enough. See, you think you're worthless, not priceless. And what changes the narrative of who you are is when you truly believe how God made you to be. It doesn't matter, listen, you're going to go through a hard time. I don't know anybody who's not gone through a hard time. So that is not a good enough excuse anymore. Well, it's been tough. Really? Surprise! It's tough for everybody. I don't know what the next slide is, but you can go ahead and put it. Maybe it might trigger my, okay, so let me tell you these three things because if you want to share your story, these are three things that I want you to think about. Number one is what do you want people to know? I told you in the beginning, this was all about using your story. So when you use your story, what do you want people to know? The second thing is, what do you want people to feel? Stories should elicit emotion. I can appreciate when I see a man up here crying because if you don't, then you're really not connected to your story. Truth be told. And then what do you want people to do? Everything should have a call to action when you're sharing your story. Listen, how many of you are leading teams? You're leading teams, you're leading people in business. Anybody? Okay. You know when you share a story with an employee, it's because you want them to feel something. But really, you want them to do something. Right? You want them to respond. You want them to react. You want them to perform better. You want them to maybe not just be here, but to think about here. All of this is very applicable, whether it's personal or professional. And so I want you to think about how are you using your story to really create impact in the world. This was important to me so much that I decided to do this with my 12-year-old son. Here's what this looked like on the next slide. My 12-year-old son is a TEDx speaker. He did a talk called When the Ball Doesn't Bounce Your Way. I'm going to tell you his story. Because I can tell you about mine, but it's going to live through my son way longer than me. He played here for Treasure Coast. He went 11-0 and won the whole championship. He's like, Dad, this is amazing. Probably because I was the coach, but anyways, that's another conversation. But the next season, I wasn't the coach, and they went 0-11. And I saw my son discouraged, and he said, I don't play basketball anymore. I said, in my fatherly Latino voice, I said, Papi, why don't you want to play anymore? He says, I have a winning mindset in a losing season. This This is an 11-year-old talking to me like this. I said, damn, son, that's good. Then TEDx called me, because they know I put speakers on stages. They said, we're looking for a youth speaker. I said, I know one. He doesn't know it yet, but I know one. I said, sign my son up. And then I told him after the season, I said, by the way, son, now, when they asked me, he was still in basketball season, so I was hoping they would lose the rest. I'm not a bad father, I just knew the team sucked, okay? The team sucked really bad. It was rough, man. I'm telling you, the refs should have kicked me out multiple times. Anyways. And I said, son, what do you think about this title? We came up with this title when the ball doesn't bounce your way. He began to take the TEDx stage. This is my son coming up to me after I delivered my TEDx talk. And why that's so important is because I used my story to impact his story. Go back to this, it might be the next slide down. Go down to the next slide. This was him doing his TEDx talk on the TEDx stage. And why this is so important, go to the next slide if you can. I want to show you this. This is what legacy sounds like. I can tell you my story, but I can also tell you his. Because he's the one that's going to continue moving on and impacting the world. So this is my greatest client right here. It's in my own house. This is it. Listen, I love what Johnny's done. All that's great for me, because I helped him keep up, but this right here. This is my greatest receipt. That's how he's going to live his life. How he's going to lead the world. Go to the next slide. I don't know if we have the next slide. Scroll up on it. Scroll up on it. I want people to see the date. I posted this in 2020. In 2020, I posted this on Instagram. It's got about, scroll down, go up. No, scroll down, sorry. It's got about over 1,000 likes on it. Yeah, right? I posted this in 2020. Scroll down, go up. I want to go see this. I want people to see this. This was me when I was preaching at church. I took this picture up top here. Zoom in on it. Zoom out, sorry. I took this picture when I got called to coach Lamar Odom. I was part of the team that coached Lamar Odom to speak on the stage. How many of you guys know Lamar Odom? Basketball player for the LA Lakers, played with Kobe Bryant. This was right after his drug binge, or that happened where he was drugged in Las Vegas. He died 8 times. 8 times. And they said, Benny, we need you to come and speak. And I took this picture in 2018, not realizing that I said by 2026, I said on the top, you can't see it, it says speak into existence, right? 2026. I posted that in 2020, not knowing that this would be the exact stage that I would do my TEDx talk in 2026. That's the exact same auditorium that you see me doing my TEDx talk and my son doing his TEDx talk on this stage, because I said in 2020, I believe that's going to happen. And why that's so important is because you are still writing your story. But I wonder what would happen if you believed for something greater. I wonder what would happen if you said, here's the vision that I have for my life. Here's the vision that I have for my business. Or I wonder what would happen. What places could you walk into? How many more lives could you impact? I did that because I was going through one of my darkest seasons. And I said, hey, take a photo of me. You know, I was at the Kravitz Center in West Palm Beach. Dang it, I should have put the picture up there. Anyways, I was at the Kravitz Center in West Palm Beach at a concert with B.B. Winans. His sister is C.C. Winans. B.B.'s a good friend of mine. The picture as I was going backstage, and I said, I'm going to take a picture of this one now. I don't know what year I'm going to put it on. Okay, so don't hold me to it. I said, but you got to have a vision to where people can hear your story. Because if you can't see it, then I can't believe it. If you're not willing to put it out there to impact the world will not be impacted by your message, your vision, or your story. I want to get this to you real quick as I end. Because maybe you're thinking, well, how do I take that next step? Where do I go? I work with a lot of people, but this is a free download. you can get my book for free. I usually charge for this, but I want to give it to you guys as a gift. You guys can go ahead and scan that. I'll leave it up here. You're probably thinking, why do I need that? At some point, you'll want to share your story. At some point, you'll want to build a program. At some point, you'll want to impact the world. And I don't know when, but when you do, know that I believe in you. And if there's anything I can do to support you, now you heard folks up here say don't charge for coaching, mentoring. I charge. I'll tell you real quick, I charge. But I will do a consulting call with you at any point. But I care about some stuff. We're going to do some events here. We're actually planning a speaker training event here in Stewart, and we'll get you guys connected, plugged in. So download this so that we have your information, and then once we do it, we can connect with you guys. Hopefully, that's added value and purpose to you all. Thank you, Jonnie, again. And let's give Jonnie a round of applause as well for putting on this industry event.
Well, we were supposed to stop at 10, so we're good. Started on time, ended on time, didn't really work. So Benny mentioned something about perfection, and or imperfection, I guess, because, you know, we had the issues here. I don't think it's, from a production standpoint, for the first time, I think we did all right, but, you know, how's everybody feel right now? I just want to close out with kind of explain to you guys what's next. I want to let Alex kind of close out a little bit first here, but and then I'll finish. Okay.
Great job today to all the speakers, some amazing stories. Thank you so much for sharing your story and being transparent. It takes a lot of guts to get up here on the stage and share your knowledge. You know, the beautiful thing about all these stories is that if you realize and you look at the book of Genesis, you know, there was darkness first, and everyone's story, from Alex to Paul to Steve to my man Benny, everyone had issues in the very beginning. A lot of darkness, a lot of challenges, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of lack of purpose. And within all these experiences, there was light. All of us run away from darkness. We all try to avoid it. But in all reality, that's where we find our purpose. And when me and Jonnie met in this room and we spoke about it, we're like, we want to help empower and create purpose for everyone in this community. We have big plans, and I can't wait for Jonnie to share them to you. Thank you.
So real quick, what he's talking about is there was a young lady, I don't think she's here tonight, but she runs it's a digital asset, it's an online platform. I think it's called Treasure Coast Locals. It's on Instagram, and I want to give her a shout out because she had an initial event here in this we're doing right now because Alex spoke at that event and just kind of shared his message and talked about business development, and we kind of, like 15 or 20 of us stood in a half moon right here. I don't know if anybody else in this room was here that night, but it turned into something special. It turned into people asking questions. There was feedback in the room, you know, oh, I did that, you know, this is what I did to get through it with my business. And, you know, there was, it was powerful. It was something that I hadn't seen anywhere else before. And we talked that night. Nick, who was here, was like, all right, guys, we're going to set the date. You're going to do that. He had made it seem like he was going to help walk us through the path and everything. And really, it's just been me and Alex and, you know, some folks that kind of stepped up along the way. John, thank you. Thank you to my beautiful wife. And this young man back here and AJ right here. Absolutely amazing. Thank you guys for all your help. But it's not stop. It's you know, we're going to continue this. How many people in this room want to share their story? How many people? You don't want to share your story? Not now, but yeah. We're working towards it. But I don't think any of the guys that spoke tonight knew whenever I called them out that you know, it was like it was a call off of the bench, right? Get out of your comfort zone, do something that you're not used to doing. I don't know about, I was really nervous to come out here tonight, but I think that everything worked out the way that it was supposed to work out. And moving forward, like what we want with this is not to just leave tonight fired up and go home and 5 days later like a seminar and you go back to doing the same old stuff. We want to continue to stay connected. We have a WhatsApp community that the folks that registered tonight were a part of. If you aren't a part of that, we can get you signed up for it. And with Iron Legacy Collective is that, take a moment of silence. We want to continue with weekly virtual check-ins. So with that, you can do that on WhatsApp, but it's more of like a call to action with we're gonna call you guys up. We want to hear what you want to change in your life. We want to hold you accountable to do it. My wife told me a month ago, I want to go to the gym. So then I said, like two weeks after she got, I said, Barry, what happened? And she's like, leave me alone. I'm like, well, you told me, so if I don't keep you accountable, who is? And that's what we need. It's with love, that we're here to call each other up. If you're voicing something that you want to do, then guess what? We're going to get you there. And if you fall short, how can we move past that? So that's the plan with the weekly virtual check-ins through a WhatsApp group. And really, like, we're just kind of winging it too, right? We wrote down what we wanted to say, but we're winging it and to see what God has for this thing. So I think when we bring a group together and we're able to sit down, we'll be able to kind of outline what it's going to be moving forward. But some guidelines that him and I talked about were the bi-monthly masterminds, doing the same thing that we're doing here. Maybe looking around the room right now, if everybody look around, there might be someone in this room that's going to be speaking there too, if they're willing and want to. And we also have some high influence people in the area, amazing leaders in this community that have already given us verbals that they want to come and help us out in this the path that we want to go on. A possibility of a Bible study is something that we wanted to talk about. Obviously, the 5 pillars are the faith, body, wealth, relationships, and purpose. Like, who wouldn't want that for their lives? Who wouldn't want those 5 things? And to purposefully be intentional on working on those things on a daily basis with people who want to do the same thing. Like, who wouldn't want to go through life and share with people who have a similar mindset? We want to do an end of the year seminar. Like I said, Benny, sure you could get us some awesome speakers. Teaching, like, I want to be on that with Alliance, is we're going to start bringing value, free workshops, free sales seminars, to just bring value to the community. Come in, and the people that'll show up are the ones that want to change. They're going to look around this room right here. It's probably not going to be everybody sitting in here is going to be the next one. We're probably going to have some new faces because folks are going to say, hey, you got to come check this out. And the membership, there's this tiered program, and there's monthly or yearly commitments, but like we figure, like was said already, Benny says you charge, if you pay, you're going to pay attention. It's not an outrageous amount of money, but it's to make sure that you lock in your spot and to be a part of something. And obviously moving forward, like I should have brought a cooler with some waters or something to drink, or maybe homeboy in the back's like, you're bringing food, like is there food? Like your wife was cooking some Brazilian food or what? And I'm like, no. So just, trying to do things a little different on the next one. So we're inviting you guys to be a part of it. If it's 5 people, it's 5 people, but we're going to see what God's got after this. If it's 2 people, guess what? I'm going to be in the room, and with whoever else shows up. So that's what we have for you guys tonight. That's what we have moving forward is not stopping here. We want to see, this thing in 5 years and see that it's impacting the community and see maybe there's chapters. Maybe we get a Fort Pierce edition. Maybe we get a Stewart edition. But that's what Iron Legacy Collective is. That's what we wanted to build when we put this together, and we're going to see what God has with it, and we're going to go from there. And that's all we got, guys.
When I say iron, you say legacy. Iron. Iron.
Yeah.
let's talk, because I'm gonna tell you something. I work with a company, I work with employees, and I love my community. I do the leadership too, and just all good. Yeah. Well, here's what I do. Right? Is that we gotta get together. It's good to do it. It's good to have two. One mid-year, and then one end of the year that has business proposals. Yeah, so coming year production, end of the year encouragement, mid-year, but let me know how you want to put that together. Yeah, and here's what it does. Take my number down. This one. Let's see if we can. Yeah, I mean, that's common. That's what I 954. Let's grab lunch and let's talk. I mean, but I think leadership to me is strength of the vision, it has to be forward, and empowers people. There's so many. Performance has to always go. You can't be like that, like that. Just talking with the AI and he's like, Vinny, I feel like I gotta talk to people about dividends. He just said the same thing. AI is changing everything, market changing.
We're still live. We're still live right now. 2 hours.
Got crushed it today.
2 hours and 22 minutes.
Let's go.
Bro, thank you for coming. Let me shut this thing down.
Thank you for the invite.
Stay connected, bro. Let's keep it going.
Listen, let's get. I love your work with you guys.
Okay.